So we need to talk about Social Security. And we need to talk about this because a Social Security increase is coming, and it's going to come very soon. Here's what I can tell you. There has been multiple discussions. There's proposals coming out. There's different plans. White House aides are now starting to work some of these different angles. So there's some good things happening for Social Security. And I know a lot of people have been asking questions. Hey, are we going to see an increase? Are we going to get that $200 boost? Is something going to happen to ensure that Social Security doesn't become insolvent in 2033? And the answer is yes. There is stuff happening. So let's address what is going on and make sure you watch this entire video. One thing that I do ask, if you could go ahead, hit that like button. It really does help out the channel. Also, if you have any questions whatsoever, please ask your questions down in the comment section below. Now, let's get right down to it. What was the important thing that happened this week? Well, the important thing is that President Biden and Senator Bernie Sanders, they just so happened to hold a meeting. They had a meeting and they discussed the options moving forward. Now, here's what I can tell you. Senator Bernie Sanders and President Biden, they met to talk about Senator Bernie Sanders' plan to keep Social Security solvent past 2033. The goal is to keep it solvent for another 70 years. Because if Social Security becomes insolvent, this means that you would not receive 100% of your benefits. No, you would get about 77 to 78%. That's a huge drop because most people would not be able to live off of a decrease in income of 22 to 23%. It's just too much. Now, here's what we know. The plan that Senator Bernie Sanders, that he has, well, it's him, Senator Elizabeth Warren, and others as well, is they want to raise the Social Security tax cap. And they want to raise it past the $160,200 that is currently set at. Now, here's one of the things that many lawmakers have stressed, and that income of $400,000 per year is extremely high. The majority of people are not making $400,000 or more per year. The majority are making much less. Many are making less than $75,000 per year. So, by not lowering this threshold or really increasing the threshold, we're actually not bringing in as much money as we could. Now, here's what some are saying. Lower income households are the ones that are struggling. So why are we giving people that are making $400,000, okay, or above, why are we giving them a break? They don't need it. Even somebody that makes $300,000, chances are they don't need a break. They don't need it, right? Even if you make $240,000 a year, that's $20,000 a month. Most people, I would assume, could live comfortably off $20,000 a month. But this is where these discussions are actually coming from. And this is why things are different. According to reports from the Washington Post, CNN, and the Wall Street Journal, they're all indicating that Democrats would rather see President Biden go back on his promise of nobody making less than $400,000 per year paying more in taxes. They would rather see him go back and pretty much disregard that promise than to wait another year and let another year or two go by without providing additional support to Social Security. That's what the reports are saying right now, at least from the Washington Post, CNN, and the Wall Street Journal. Now, Democrats also believe that voters would be less likely to support them in the next election if they can't get additional funding for Social Security. And again, keep this in mind, Social Security would become insolvent in the next 10 years. Now, if voters are less likely to care about raising taxes, right, than Social Security, then shouldn't we go after, or especially from a Democratic point of view, shouldn't Democrats go after the Social Security, and shouldn't they try to increase funding for Social Security? The answer is yes. And that's why the discussions of raising that tax cap to $250,000 to potentially $400,000, That is what is being discussed. Now, the meeting between Senator Bernie Sanders and President Biden, this reportedly was very good. That they had, well, obviously, they're kind of on the same side here, but they had mutual discussions, and there's a lot of things that are coming away from this. Well, one of the big ones is that White House aides are already working on the specifics behind the plan in order to raise the Social Security tax cap. Now, the plan that Senators Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders have that they've actually introduced, it states that taxes would be collected on income over $250,000. This means there'd be a gap between the $160,200 and $250,000. So in that $89,800 income, right? What we are hearing is that, at least at this point, is that gap would remain. So if you make $160,000, right? That's where the cap ends. Then you wouldn't pay any income up to $250,000 or any income Social Security tax up to $250,000. Then after that, it would start to add up again. But again, here's the thing: how many people are making $250,000 or more per year? The numbers are not that high. Now, according to the White House last year, raising the income cap to include income over $400,000 per year would bring in an additional $740 billion over 10 years. That's a substantial amount of money. Almost $1 trillion in 10 years. $750 billion in 10 years. That's pretty good. Now, here's the other thing. The fact that more people are going to be, more baby boomers are going to start retiring very soon. This is a problem for Social Security. And this is why many say we have to address this issue now. We cannot wait. So, here's what I can tell you. Both Democrats and Republicans, the goal is for them to put out their budget very soon for fiscal year 2024. In this budget, we are going to see where there's cuts. We are going to see where there's additional spending. But according to these reports, we likely won't see anything come for Social Security until after the budgets are proposed. After Republicans see Democrats' budget, after Democrats see the Republican budget, we're not going to see any movement until after that. So, it's actually very important. And the reason why I wanted to bring this up is simple. If Democrats don't make any changes and they don't offer the cuts to other programs like they have said, Republicans are going to come back, they're going to hold strong, and we are going to see a true fight. But on the same, kind of on the flip side, if Republicans come out, show their budget, and there's cuts to Social Security, cuts to Medicare, which I don't believe there will be cuts to either one, but if there are cuts to those things, or they're trying to make a very complicated budget because of cuts to other programs, we could see Democrats try to hold strong as well. This is the one thing we don't want. We don't want to play chicken with either the federal budget, we don't want to play chicken when it comes to the debt ceiling, and we don't want to play chicken when it comes to Social Security and Medicare. The problem is, at this point, that is probably the most likely outcome is one party is going to hold strong. The other party is going to try to negotiate. Which one? I don't know. But we're going to find out very soon. And as we do, and as always, I promise I will fill you in on all the latest news and updates. Again, just want to thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.